Before we go, make sure you support the channel by subscribe. I've never seen my girlfriend's feet before. Today, I found out why. Look, I'm not a foot guy, so it took a while for me to notice. I met Audrey in the wintertime, so it didn't strike me as odd when she only ever wore Converse, tennis shoes, or my favorite, knee-high boots. Or when she traipsed around her apartment all day in thick wool socks. I just thought she had cold feet, literally, not metaphorically. She was definitely super into me. Besides, Audrey was the girl of my dreams. Fiery auburn hair, perky double-D breasts, a perfect hourglass figure, plays video games and loves to please me. The literal manifestation of every teenage male fantasy I'd ever had. I guess you could say I was a little distracted. What with the boobs in my face and the seductive red hair in my eyes. It made it a bit hard to pay attention to her feet. The first subtle signs of Audrey's foot aversion appeared when spring rolled around. As the weather warmed, she continued wearing fluffy socks indoors even when she came over to my apartment. Even when we had sex. The first time, I chalked it up to a roleplay thing, but by the second, third, and fourth times, it really didn't seem like a likely explanation. Any of my attempts to take them off always got out, maneuvered, or teasingly pushed away. Still, I shrugged it off. What do I know about women anyways? For all I know, women could be molting their feet every month like some sort of foot-based menstruation. I'd be none the wiser. Besides, I was busy inhaling all the damn red hair in my face. Like an addict snorting cocaine, deep in the throes of lust and ecstasy. I may not be a foot guy, but I sure as hell love a redhead. Yeah, it's a fetish, whatever. Judge me if you want. But they're so rare to find, which makes it super important, that I stake my claim on Audrey and keep her around. You guys know what I mean. The last thing I want is to end up with another Claire again. Claire had pretty blue eyes, but her hair was like dried grass. She was flat as a board and jiggly in all the wrong places. Worst yet, Claire refused to dye her hair red or even wear a red wig during sex. And when I gave her a gym membership for her birthday, she totally freaked out on me. She refused to accommodate my kinks or desires, but always expected me to listen to her moan about feelings in that whiny, demanding voice I always hated. And sure, I cheated on Claire plenty of times, but that's what she deserved. When Claire finally up and left me, it was honestly kind of relief. Especially when I bumped into Audrey just 4 months later. Unlike with Claire, it felt like Audrey had been custom-made for me. Honestly, I was ready to drop a knee and secure the deal, but there was still that nagging worry at the back of my head. She never seemed to wear sandals or heels. I didn't ever remember seeing Audrey without her socks. It almost seemed like she was hiding her feet from me. Then, a couple weeks ago, we were invited to a pool party. Audrey turned up in water shoes. Water. Shoes. To a pool. Now I was more than certain she was hiding her feet from me. Oh no, my feet are just gross right now. My pedicure last week went so wrong she giggled to an acquaintance. Last week. Try 6 months ago. Bullshit. Bull. Fucking shit. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Something was off, and I had to figure out what it was. After another night of fantastic sex, yes, socks included, I waited for Audrey to drift off to sleep before sliding out of bed. I stood at the foot, no pun intended, of the bed, and slowly lifted up the duvet. There they were. 2 feet, 2 socks. Inexplicably, I could feel my heart thudding in my chest. Was she gonna have no feet? Cankles? Hairy toes. Calluses would be gross, but whatever it was, I could always pay to get it fixed. It couldn't be all that bad. I held my breath and gingerly rolled the knee-high sock down, exposing calf, then ankle, then heel. My eyes traced the curvature of her right leg, then sole, then toes. The sock was off. I squinted in the darkness. It's just a foot. A perfectly normal right foot. This can't be. I shuffled to my feet to grab my phone from the nightstand, then headed back to the foot of the bed and used the phone screen to illuminate her foot. There it was, painted red toenails on smooth, dainty feet with skinny ankles. Painted red toenails on dainty feet. Painted red toenails. Painted red. Oh my God. It wasn't red nail polish. Audrey had no toenails, where there should have been a light pink mound of smooth keratin. There was nothing. No cuticle, no luna, no nail plate. Instead, all I could see was the red nail bed, the skin under where the nail should have been. Just the concave indent of the nail bed, missing the thickness of the nail plate that should sit atop it. It was obvious this had been a tedious, manual process. Not a single one had come off smoothly. The skin around the missing nails was rough and irregular, with skin tags and calcified, thickened bits of skin flakes. It was as though someone had violently picked at it, trying to push the skin back to expose the edges of the nail, beneath to rip the whole nail out. On some toes, the nail bed looked red and infected, as though the nail that once was there had been freshly excavated, taking chunks of skin with it and leaving a bloodbath of raw, gummy wounds behind. There were visible craters and lacerations where skin once was, now open, soggy and glistening with sticky, half-congealed blood. On other toes, where the nail removal job hadn't been smooth, there were raised shards of nail matter embedded in the inflamed skin. You could see the thin layers of nail in each shard, like brittle, cracked crusts of keratin, each one twisted, peeled, and folded over another. An obsessively thorough dissection turned massacre. It wasn't the bad pedicure she said it was. There was simply no cure for this pedi. I swallowed hard, fighting the wave of nausea rising in my throat. Audrey stirred in bed. In a panic, the phone slipped from my hand, plunging the room in pitch darkness again. I scrambled in the darkness to locate the sock and rolled it back onto her leg. Toes, then sole, then heel, then ankle, then calf. I took extra care to not touch her toenails, or lack thereof. I'm lying in bed next to Audrey now. All I can see when I close my eyes are 5 mutilated toenails. Just thinking about Audrey potentially using the same fingers she touches me with, or worse, cooks for me with to dig and peel at her toenails makes me retch. I'm definitely going to confront her tomorrow. I've Googled around a bit, and maybe I'll send her to Acylkelomania, or maybe... Update. I fell asleep before I finished writing, but things have changed a lot since yesterday. I don't have much time, but I have to get my story out now. I woke up today to find Audrey had made me breakfast in bed. I didn't have the heart to confront her then. I didn't have the heart to confront her when she surprised me with a lunchtime picnic in the park. I didn't have the heart to confront her as we people watched by the large lake. I didn't have the heart to confront her when she served me snacks as I played COD. I didn't have the heart to confront her as I ate the 3-course dinner spread she prepared. I didn't have the heart to confront her as I breathed in her red hair while she rode me in bed. I didn't have the heart to confront her all day. She'd been so perfect all day. I thought yesterday must have been a nightmare. That's just not Audrey. The Audrey I knew wouldn't do that. Surely not. I had to get confirmation. Same as before, I snuck out of bed, rolled both her socks down, and illuminated her feet with my phone. And same as before, 10 raw, mangled toenails stared back at me. I could feel the bile curdling in my throat. Baby. Audrey's soft voice pierced the silence. My entire body jolted in shock, and my head whipped up to see my beautiful redhead goddess sitting up in bed, seductive red flames of hair licking at her shoulders. Her blue eyes glowed in the dim lighting. I got a strange sense of déjà vu. Audrey swallowed nervously, fidgeting with my phone. I found... look, I don't know how to say this, but... It's okay. You can touch it. She whispers softly. I stop short, unsure of how to respond. Wait, okay. You need to tell me what this is even about. Audrey. Touch it, she repeats, her voice slightly above a whisper. What? Audrey, to do this to yourself. Is it some sort of disease? Is it your kink? The words tumbled out of my lungs, my chest, my knotted stomach. Touch it. Her voice was firmer this time, demanding. It didn't sound like Audrey. She almost sounded like Claire. God damn it, Audrey. Are you even listening to me? I grabbed Audrey's shoulders, desperately trying to shake a response out of her, but she remained cold and still. Touch. Hit, her arm clasped onto my wrist. Audrey, for fuck's sake. I'm not going to touch it. It's fucking disgusting. What's wrong with you? What's going on? I screamed, fully hysterical, struggling to wrench my wrist from Audrey's iron grip. Stop it. Let me go, Audrey. What the fuck are you on? Why are... In one swift motion, she forced my hand forward and jammed it onto her big toe. Her other hand came in with a vice-like grip on my index finger and meticulously dragged it down every toe on her right foot, then her left. It dragged over the reddish-brown scabs, past the jagged ridges of unextracted nail material, and through the sunken moats of warm, inflamed skin, sticky pus, and half-congealed blood. I could feel every edge, every uneven growth of keratin, every skin tag, every dried flake of blood, every half-healed laceration, every mutilated to a nail. A scream lodged itself in my throat. Do you like it? Audrey whispered, her silky, sweet, dulcet tone re-emerging. I gulped, uncertain of how to respond. I don't think... Audrey stopped moving my index finger. It hovered over her left big toe. She forced it downwards. I could feel the growing pressure of the nail bed against my finger. It felt like coarse skin, and like skin. I could feel it give in slightly when I pressed down. It didn't have as much resistance as a nail would. It all felt so wrong. You like it. There it was again, that whiny, demanding voice. Audrey, please. I don't want to hurt you, I begged, tears prickling in my eyes. Wrong answer. With great force, she pierced my finger through the skin of her nail bed. I started screaming. I felt the skin give way as my fingernail pierced through a wound in the nail bed. Audrey pressed further. I screamed, kicking, crying, begging, desperately trying anything to wrestle my finger from her grip. It had fully penetrated her toe now, and I could feel her flesh squelching under the pressure. Audrey wasn't crying. There was no grimace, no wincing, no hesitation. Just an iron grip, a steely gaze, and a cold smirk playing on her lips. She continued, pushing further and further until I hit bone. Her blood oozing out of the crevice, soaking my finger and dribbling onto the carpet. My finger had fully penetrated her toe, yet there wasn't a hint of pain on her face, just a maniacal grin that seemed to spread wider and wider by the second. I fell silent, staring at the masochistic, red-haired devil sitting on the bed. My girlfriend as I knew her was gone. Just as quickly as it all began, Audrey abruptly let go of my finger. I fell backwards and retreated to the far corner of the room, my entire body still shaking from the ordeal. Out of nowhere, Audrey began screaming in pain. What are you doing? Get off me. Why are you torturing me? Her voice was desperate and shrill, but her eyes were still cold and empty, fixated on me. Her lips curled in a cruel sneer. Audrey, what the fuck? Keep your voice down. What the hell are you on about? I hissed from the other side of the room. It hurts, baby. Please stop. My nail. Oh my god. Audrey. Help. Someone help. Help me. Something in me triggered my fight or flight. I had to get out fast. I grabbed my things and dashed out of her apartment, her deafening screams echoing behind me, down the hallways, through the stairwells, and out into the desolate streets. I didn't stop running till I reached home. I'm in the corner of my room now, typing. Audrey's blood is caked under my fingernail. I can't get all of it off. Shit. I just heard a knock. It's the police. I tried to scrub harder with soap, with water, blood isn't coming off. The police are still knocking. They have a warrant for my arrest for domestic violence. I didn't do it, I swear. It's some sadistic way nail-pulling torture ritual shit that she did to herself. They're not going to believe me. Fuck. Never trust a woman who won't show you her feet.